unfortunately, as far as the graphics goes. But as you can see, that's how it stands. So the locking phase moving along right here. The blind bands, let's scroll up a little bit. Who are we dealing with? Flux and Oogie. Flux and Oogie coming up.
First time we've actually seen any sign of Oogie being even dressed. So
and he's blind band. Go figure.
Can't really look at the games from yesterday, but maybe it's the case where they actually had some good Oogie games coming out, and they noticed that and chose to ban out. Maybe it's a preferred hero of one of these players. On the other side, Parasite and Soul Reaper. Parasite's a hero you see occasionally banned to that phase, but Soul Reaper not as much. It is clear that Tankavet's team, they did have some success using Soul Reaper, I believe. Wasn't it? Then weren't they using him in the Runic Shift tourney? I seem to recall.
Yeah, it was. Yes, they were. Tankafet was playing. I remember that.
Right. And so, addressing that factor. Keeper of the Forest, Tempest, we're going to see their lovely faces here again in the lock pool, facing off against each other, with Ophelia in there as well, though. And as we've seen, with Warbeast left in the pool, with Stay Green, they actually were able to utilize Warbeast effectively with Ophelia and seemingly crush Keeper of the Forest Tempest lineups 2 times in a row.
Yeah, again, so in that Runic Shift Invitation, we got to see a bit out of them. They even gave Stay Green somewhat of a run for their money in the semifinal matchup before eventually, falling to them 2-0. But this is clearly a team, newly formed, of course, put together, and a team to definitely start looking out for it, and it's going to be interesting to see how they progress throughout this event. Now, on the other hand, you do have Gay for Life over there on the Hellborne side. Again, players that you may recognize, but also kind of a new team that's just put together for this event, but definitely skilled players over there when it comes down to it. So, again, really interested to see how this one plays out. As far as this game progressing here, though, I mean, it is definitely moving pretty fast. We're already got some picks out of the way, so with that said, as you look at the lock pool, you got Torture, Keeper, Tempest, Engineer, Master of Arms, and Ophelia. The bands we're dealing with: Demented Shaman, Fade, Moon Queen, Zephyr, Artillery, and Wild. So first pick Rally into Pebbles, Deadwood. So look at that. Those are all Stay Green favorites right there. You got Rally, Pebbles, and Deadwood coming out as far as the first 3 picks are concerned. Not often you see that, especially in the regular picking stage.
Well, definitely tells you the pace they're going with their top 2 farmers thing. They're just going for a very burst-heavy, gank-heavy lineup, which honestly has been rewarded a lot in this game. They have mobilized for Rally on top of just overall strong hero composition. I would say that would be just a fine lineup indeed. Rally is picked up. Master of Arms is in the lock pool, so that's something that Team Yi is going to be looking to grab out of it. Tundra being picked up, however. We've seen Tundra banned. We've seen actually Tundra blind banned, especially by Stay Green. Flux and Tundra every single game, just figuring with ganks being more rewarding and the hero being an annoyance. He has a little bit of an increased presence. Luna could not have been a better draft for the support, though, out of this pool, considering the fact that, well, they have the Pebbles and Deadwood. It is that free Codex factor. It is the good burst damage, and that absolutely going to reward their team phenomenally. Ophelia, we talked about it before. There was the Keeper and the Tempest, but since team started utilizing Ophelia more effectively, she did climb to the top of those junglers in the lock pool once again. In a case like this, though, it's not like they're getting the double jungle. I mean, Keeper of the Forest, Tempest, no question there. It's not like they're getting the double jungle here on the Legion side. I wouldn't want to jinx myself there. But, so they have the choice of support heroes. Going for the Master of Arms. Pretty smart, actually, to grab Ophelia if they were going for that Master of Arms protective combo as well alongside the Rally, because of the fact that, hey, they're baiting out Keeper Tempest there. They don't want to give Ophelia plus Keeper Tempest to Team Yi, so they're like, hey, we have to take it. And knowing that, they didn't have to grab a support hero right away. There were a lot of support heroes in the pool available, and they actually got their choice of the #1 slot they would have picked for the Master of Arms. So, great job drafting there by Tankafet.
Yeah, definitely well played indeed. I mean, both teams very, very sound teams here. Right, no question marks here as far as this game is concerned. I mean, the Tundra pick, sure, it's we haven't seen Tundra all too often, but as you made the point, Stay Green specifically, obviously we refer to them a lot for good reason. I mean, the win streak that they're on, and they are the most dominant team right now, so it makes sense to kind of refer to them, what they're doing. But, blind banning that Tundra hero as of late. So, but yeah, picked up here, going to be played by Fabelli over here for Team so I'm sure he'll do just fine. Also, something I want to reiterate again, this is a round of 32, so what that means more into it is this is the last round where it's single elimination. So it's still single elimination at this point. You lose here, you are done here with the DreamHack Summer Qualifiers. and you will not, won't be qualifying for the event. Now, with that said, if you do win here, you advance out of the round of 16, which then the double elimination format starts to kick in. So it kind of gives you that safety net, you could say, winning this round here. Obviously, in the end, you just want to win no matter what, but just kind of adding a little bit to the intensity as far as what actually is on the line. Rotten Grasp going to be attempted right there, but you do see the Legion team being able to dodge it, and in the end, not really much initiation is going to take place, it looks like. So,
see, I liked the aggressive roam early on with their team, considering the fact I think Ophelia is a bit easier to shut down in the woods. I was wondering if Penny actually was going to place any aggressive wards there to block any camps. They are blocking her hard camp closest to the bottom lane, so maybe going to slow down her jungle that way. But they're not opting for the strategy that we've seen a little bit lately, where teams are actually buying the extra rev ward at the start and trying to block all of Ophelia's camps out, forcing her to the other side of the jungle. And given the fact that they don't exactly, that's better actually when you don't have a jungler yourself. It's better when you have another secondary support or another utility hero instead of another jungle, because it's a lot easier to group up and really just make that jungle's life a living hell.
Yeah. Yeah, as we've definitely seen a lot here since even especially that patch came out just over a week ago now. So laning phase kicking in here, getting an idea of what we're going to be seeing. Look at this middle matchup: Rally Master of Arms versus your Pebbles Aluna. Talk about a lot of kill potential here in this middle lane between these two sides. So definitely looking forward to some good action here in the middle lane matchup between Team Yeah and HOMO over here on the hellborne side. So Tundra does go the suicide route as far as the long lane is concerned, at least. Going to be matched up against Baltazar playing that Deadwood. And then you have the bottom lane, Wretched Hag short lane against your Keeper of the Forest here. Wretched Hag by Probusk, Keeper of the Forest being played by Macera, it looks like.
Yeah,
so.
I actually don't. The Rally Master Arms is a decent lane in that it'll allow Rally to farm nicely. As far as the chance of Pebbles being killed out or something here, I would say by that combination, not that high. Rally puts out okay damage, but just as long as they're playing it safe, it's not the same as like Pebbles Luna lane.
Yeah.
That being said, the Pebbles Luna lane, thanks to the Rally Compel, overall defensive posturing of the lane is going to be very difficult. So until a third party comes involved, or a Lucky Rune, I don't actually expect to see a kill. Unless someone's like way the hell far up out of position and really taking a chance at the creep kill, I am expecting to see more of a neutral wipe.
Well, you see, again, a good amount of harassment being put out and expect that to continue, but so we'll definitely keep an eye, though, on this middle lane especially for even a possible Bloodlust kill, because if there was a lane, you'd have to guess where it would happen. Most likely be that one, so we'll definitely keep a close eye on that. Deadwood versus Tundra, though, here at the top lane, kind of interesting. Again, obviously, seeing Tundra, it's just been a while since it seems like we've even seen him, honestly. But then on top of that, going to the long lane here, being played by Fabella, as I said. So in this matchup, I mean, do you expect him to have a decent time against Deadwood?
Oh, for sure. Tundra's always crazy. He's got that free harass coming out from his charge. His access to a ton of damage. And, well, free scouting of the woods here. I mean, not to mention the effect that is Orb, but free scouting of the woods of Tempest, he should do just fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, you see right here, he's taking the early lead in the lane. Due to the fact that instead of getting a hatchet, he actually opted to go shield and some increased stat items, so he's able to play a lot more aggressive on this Deadwood. Given the fact that he has that extra regen, he has that hatchet. Now he's actually forcing him all the way back.
Oh, middle matchup, though. No shit on Pebbles. Trying to get away right here. Stalagmites just stopped him in the place. Raleigh does have Compel up in 5 seconds, 4 seconds of counting. Pebbles might be in some trouble here, actually. No stuff from Aluna is going to be up. There's the Compel. It does connect the Catman Champion who comes in. And Tankafet playing the Ophelia will get credit for the Bloodlust kill right there. So, again, he just knew it was going to be happening in the middle lane, and sure enough, it eventually does. Top lane, Deadwood does fall. Fabelli turns it around and takes out Deadwood there at the top lane. So, great start for you.
Yeah, Fabelli, I was going back to his item build, and I had to say, it's honestly why he was able to take control of the lane. If he went for that shield hatchet, he wouldn't be able to apply as much pressure onto that Deadwood. Deadwood had a much easier time down there, at least in the earlier levels. So, great job by him staying aggressive, using that cold shoulder to get in his face, laying those auto attacks, and it's kind of a snowball momentum here in the top lane until Tempest gets involved, but he has the scouting tools to deal with him, so
yeah,
it's going to be difficult. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we talked about it, there weren't going to be any kills until a third party got involved. Sure enough, Ophelia with that Catman came in and did set something up.
Yep.
Now,
yep.
Well, the bottom lane matchup, I wanted to comment on more so. It's the Wretched Hag versus the Keeper of the Forest. And I was going to say, with the Keeper of the Forest recent nerfs to his armor, not only to his armor, but the armor from the Nature's Veil, the Fade Time, what have you, she's always been historically pretty good against melee heroes with using that Haunt ability to lane the harass. And in this lane, she's actually only getting 1 point of it, but is actually out CSing the Keeper of the Forest quite effectively so far.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you see as soon as he comes out of the invis, the auto attacks start pounding in to Keeper of the Forest. So not afraid to do that. Back to the middle lane, though. Pebbles once again in some trouble. Rally's chasing the Skeleton King minion from Ophelia, helps finish him off. Panny actually gets credit for the kill right there. So again, that third party, Ophelia coming in, not afraid to play aggressive here. Tankafet doing some big work here early on for and setting up another kill onto that middle lane. In the meantime, I mean, you look at it from the other perspective, Pebbles, he's been locked down quite a bit. He's already 0-2. I mean, his creep farm's not horrible by any means, but the fact that he's 0-2,
right,
obviously slowing things down quite a bit. In
what is normally a very powerful lane, it's not the fact that they're getting kills, as you mentioned. It's the fact that they are killing the Pebbles. They are killing the point hero in the lane, which is always a more vital kill.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's one of the heroes that's going to be responsible for their mid-game pressure. And if you look at it here, both Deadwood and Pebbles having a really, really rocky start. And those are the heroes they're depending on really to create the game for them.
Yeah. And you see at the bottom lane, Keeper of the Forest is going to be gone on right here by Ophelia. Dust is going to be used as well. Ratchet Act chasing, doesn't have the Bat Blast, doesn't have mana for it, I should say. So just putting in the auto attacks, and actually Keeper of the Forest will be fine. Oh man, if it wasn't for the lack of mana right there, that was definitely a dead Keeper of the Forest. But he is able to get away in the end. But again, Tankafet really just continuing to play aggressive here, even purchasing the early Dust to try to set up the gank on a Keeper of the Forest. It does harass him out of the lane, though. He will use a health potion to regen here in the meantime. But good job at least for Keeper, though, at least staying alive. It's the good news, of course.
Well, forcing the regen's always good. It is slowing down his progress. And, well, he's level 6 now. Has mana for the ultimate, but doesn't look like anyone's sitting up. Meanwhile, in the middle lane,
Pebbles is going to be fine, but the goo came out a little late right there. Maybe if it came a little earlier, those auto attacks would have dropped him a little bit more, but I don't think it still would have
actually kill him in the end. It's a third party effect.
Yeah.
It's always the junglers that sort of decide. If you have a jungler on either side, I always prefer to see the aggressive jungle, the Tempest, the Ophelia get involved, and that's the downside of having a passive jungle like Keeper of the Forest, is that they can't really dictate the map control before level 6.
Yeah. Tundra level 7 here in the meantime at the top lane. Again, he's coming along very nicely. Got that kill earlier on against Deadwood. In that 1v1 situation, he has the boots and bottle early on. And again, continuing to do a fairly good job. Now, Deadwood, despite that death, he too is actually having a pretty damn good time, honestly. 29, 30, and 15 now against your Tundra. Actually, Tundra running into Tempest in the meantime. Fork Lightning comes out. Mikey Man, oh, he casted his ultimate at the last second. Oh, it's on cooldown now.
Mikey Man, I understand what he was trying to do there. Maybe luckily he catch Tundra and Master of Arms there in his ultimate. Deadwood was coming in. Hopefully get a turnaround of some sort.
Yeah.
But that is going to be an absolute horrible situation. Did you think they reckoned? They had to have seen that it got casted briefly, right? I believe.
Oh yeah. I mean, I noticed the animation first.
Exactly. It was for a very short second. I'm sure the enemy team was perceptive. They've got to be excited right now, man. And given the fact, okay, Ophelia is only level 4. She's been a little bit more active in the map. You do take that sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's not that Ophelia is that slow of a jungler, but when you choose to get active and win the lanes, you take a little bit of a hit to your jungle pattern. It's definitely worth it as it creates that snowball effect. And, you know, right here, that's just exactly what they needed here. Keeper of the Forest, he's level 6, but as far as roam potential goes, yeah, Deadwood might be able to get down there. He needs to do something, but his farm is hurting right now. Pebbles' farm is hurting, so they're kind of in this horrible spot where they can't really set anything up for a while now with Tempest's ulti being down.
Yep, that's a huge deal indeed. I mean, just hitting that level 6 mark, it's as you said, I mean, you can understand in that heat of the moment, you're really just trying to make that big turnaround play, and hell, it would have been epic if it did, but it was a big risk, and it did not pay off in the end. So that's obviously 199 seconds you see there on the cooldown counter already. Obviously sitting in this pause, so kind of an awkward time to pause as well. It just has him, he gets to now think about it even a little bit longer as actually what just happened right there as far as him getting ganked. I mean, Deadwood level 6 running over, but he'll most likely quickly turn around here as it is a 2 versus 1 situation. So Yaz off to a huge start right here. Again, 4-0 hero kills. They got an early 1,500 goal lead. You look at this hellborne lineup, I mean, it is a team, no doubt, about building that momentum early on and taking them with it. Especially with heroes like Deadwood and Pebbles. So the fact that our Legion team is actually up right now is some pretty scary news. Pro Busk on that wretched hack. He's gonna be the carry presence this game, of course, for Team Yeah, and he is currently sitting just about at that 300 goal per minute mark. So again, across the board, looking good for him. Obviously, this being the round of 32, there are plenty, well, 16 other matchups to be exact. As far as other matches that are taking place right now. So we'll do our part to definitely keep you updated again as we are trying to get closer and closer to, or further on in the event. There's going to be much more interesting results taking place. So, oh, Deadwood will go in right here. He's actually going to initiate on a Penny. Penny is going to end up falling. The Falcon Punch and the Rotten Crash is too much to handle. Thought he was going to turn around, but realizing Well, they just used quite a bit on Tempest, so he might as well go in right there. And, hey, it does pay off at least. So the first kill finally happening for a hellborne team.
Deadwood actually, he did have bile charges. If he had his mana up, he might be able to punish Deadwood a little bit more while he was going for his teammate. Either way, he realized the Master Arms didn't have boots and capitalized on it. Not the biggest of a deal. You know, Penny being dropped, he's a support hero for their team. It's not the same as killing that Deadwood that pebbles the Tempest, so far, Team E off to a very dominating start. I'm curious to see if they're actually going to try subs. I was actually saying they're going to try some roam here, potentially onto the Keeper of the Forest, who might be feeling a little bit more confident after that fight just went down in the top lane. But seemingly being perceptive, he is backing off. Does have the Ring of Sorcery coming, and it's a good time for him to start tapping into the Ancients as a resource.
Yeah, so we'll see, you know, when and if that does take place here for them. But Tundra's still sitting at the top lane. I'm actually kind of curious about that. I mean, he's level 8 now. This is a hero that has a pretty good roam potential in setting up ganks elsewhere. But he is continuing to sit up here at the top lane now. Obviously, he did just get that kill on the Tempest, so at least doing a little bit of movement. But kind of curious when Fabelli will start moving out of the lane more so and setting up ganks either in the middle and the bottom lane. But for now, just going to continue to farm. I mean, do you have any insight on that? Would you like to see him start moving around?
I mean, he just got a kill with his Avalanche. It hasn't been that long since then. Yes, he should get a teleportation scroll. He's only at 200 mana right now. He recognized the Tempest was coming. At some point, I would like to see him reset, grab a TP scroll, and even if he just walks back up there and is having the TP in case the fight breaks out. Otherwise, yeah, I would like to see him roam. Rune is spawning, though. He's going top for that refresh from Rune. So, yeah, instead of needing to go heal, he's actually not going for it. He just has a mana potion. Okay, that's fine. Just going to use his axes. That's the other thing, too, though, is that Tundra's a very good counter pusher. And using his axes, which he has maxed out all the way here, he can really slow down Tempest's advance onto this tower.
Yeah, and they're going to need that right here. Tempest does have level 4 elementals, so they are going to be doing plenty of damage right here. They're going to despawn in 3 seconds, though, unfortunately, so doesn't look like too much is going to happen in the end. And yeah, they will start to fall back, or will they actually? But meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Ophelia's pushing in with Master of Arms and Wretched Hag and Vulnerability going to be coming out right here. Keeper of the Forest is nearby. But this could very likely be a free tower kill. Keeper of the Forest, though. He's going to use the invis. Oh, he tries to deny it right there. Take it back. Gets credit for the tower kill. Meanwhile, back to the top lane, though. Avalanche on a Tempest. Boards are coming in. There's that piercing shards. Raleigh coming in. Gets caught by the Rotten Grasp, though. It doesn't matter. Wretched Hag with the Flash of Darkness and the auto attack to finish off Mikey Man playing that Tempest. So great pursuit coming out here from Yeah. And it does result in not only a tower kill, but a hero kill at the top lane. And they're also going to push that one back, it looks like. Master of Arms and Ophelia still going at the bottom lane a little bit. Looks like now, though, they're going to start to fall back as Keeper of the Forest is holding his ground. Yeah,
I wanted to comment, not only is the fact that Tundra a good counter pusher, he's also a good counter pusher in the sense that, okay, it does take 4 seconds to teleport to that tier 1 tower, but Tundra's Avalanche, great cast range on it in 600, on top of the fact that it is a 3-second stun.
Yeah.
When combined with the teleportation or a hero walking in from the shadows, it's very easy to set up a kill, but we saw the counter gank just happen right there, Breaky.
Yeah, well, that was an interesting play coming out. A Revelation Ward was put down, actually, by the Legions and by Panny. Definitely felt something was up. Sure enough, he did spot Keeper, but Keeper realizing that he was spotted, he just went and used his route right there. Ophelia did a good job of trying to port out Master of Arms in time, but obviously it wasn't to be. The power throw came through from Aluna, and eventually up finish him off, and then eventually Ophelia. So that was definitely a great turnaround there for the Hellborne side. And it not only will be those 2 hero kills, but could possibly be a tower kill. As Master of Arms does port in, though, puts the goo down, going to try to keep them from pushing too heavy. But you got a Keeper and a Tempest with those minions coming out. It's going to be a good amount of damage. So, yeah, it looks like they are going to fall back in the end, though. But, again, a good turnaround, at least in the initial part. And now Pebble's trying to find an opportunity. Deadwood in the meantime at the top lane. Balances are in some trouble. Rotten Grass comes down. It will not hit Wretched Hag. Oh, that was very close right there. Might not have mattered in the end, as he does fall yet again. So, or I guess, no, it's only 2 deaths. I thought it was at least 3. But so he's died twice now, but good job sticking around at the top lane at least, getting another kill into him. So.
And Penny having a little bit of read on the fact that they were coming to try to snipe him out thanks to the bottom reward. Position himself nice. No, Krebson, I should say, position himself nicely. They're up onto this cliff. Keeper of the Forest is still down for 30 seconds, and I don't think they should push this tower much further at all. They should not. They should not.
The Hellborne team?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, the Legion. Wait.
The Hellborne team. The
middle
Hellborne
push?
team pressuring mid. Yeah, it's okay. Ophelia's there with the Vulture Lord. They have. They're pushing out top. Teleportations though are up on Tundra and Wretched Hag. Are they just gonna let this go?
Yeah, they are.
Gonna get bottom in. All right.
Yeah, it's definitely it was a trade-off decision there from deciding it's best to at least get the top tower. Keep
Penny
pushing
actually
in,
looking at that further. Penny had low mana, so
yeah.
as far as defending that push goes, it plays a big factor into it. Tundra's Avalanche was down, but I think in a team fight situation they would have been able to take it against them.
Speaking of Tundra, you do see the Shiver is going to start being more and more of an impact now, of course. In fact, he's going to roam around it with right here. Going to spot some decent vision, and as a team, they are moving out. Oh, we have a big Team 5 Bruin right here, perhaps. You see the Hellborne positioning. They're kind of spread out, but they got a flank spot. Pebble's going to be caught up. Pebbles gets absolutely bursted down. The Avalanche on top of everything else, just doing so much damage. Bat Blast connects to Aluna, and Aluna will fall. Tempest and Deadwood realizing that they are now outnumbered and are going to go for the run. Mikey Man does have his Elemental Void up. Port is coming in, but Mikey Man's in some trouble. He is going to fall right there. Good compel coming up from Rally to help finish him off. Keeper the Force does port in, but obviously just a little bit too late. So great pursuing coming out from Again, they just had the numbers advantage and really the jump opportunity over the Hellborne team. And actually, it's not even over just yet. They're going to go to Deadwood right here. Falcon Punch the Seismic Slam, excuse me. Falcon Punch wasn't used as Deadwood is trying to run away. Nice route though for Keeper the Forest. Here comes a turnaround chance for the Hellborne team. Oh, the Stalagmite's just out of range of Rally and Tundra, and they will be fine in the end. So a lot of pressure here though being applied from early on in this game.
A lot of the success of that fight, though, came out to the Tundra Hawk. Pebbles was trying to run the flank on him, trying to get on him. They spotted him out. You know, they used the Rally Compel on top of the Tundra, on top of the Wretched Hag. Was able to quickly burst him down before he was able to get a combo off, and that just set the pacing for a really, really, really bad fight for Gay for life.
Yeah. I mean, you do see Pebbles, again, he's at 240 gold per minute right now, so 13 minutes into this game, it's not bad, but those two deaths early on, no doubt having that impact that the Legion team was hoping for him. And then Deadwood on top of that. I mean, it's like, okay, you locked down one, at least our others doing good. I mean, Deadwood's definitely, you know, he's having a good game. He is actually nearing 300 gold per minute, which is great, but those two deaths as well hurting him.
It's not bad, but it is bad for your Pebbles. So you're playing in that lineup, trying to give priority farm in the early game so he has that snowball effect before the enemy team is too tanky. And you have to worry about that even when the team doesn't have 3 defensive capabilities there between Oh, actually, I shouldn't even say 3. You know, 4, because on top of all of that, they have the Hawk. They have the Hawk to scout out Pebbles, which makes games that much more difficult. So the Master of Arms, the Rally, the Ophelia. Life is already hard enough for Pebbles. It doesn't really get his portal key in really early game timing.
Yeah.
And now the fact that...
Poor guy.
Yeah, just...
It was kind of funny. He put the Rev down right on top of Tundra, who was invis, and he's like, "Oh crap!" And he tried to run away, but Tundra's like, "Yeah, you ain't going anywhere." So
yeah, so Spidey sense not entirely paying off.
Yeah. Just got to see his enemy right before his death. Speaking of Tundra, though, actually, I'm curious what you think. I mean, Puzzle Blocks did receive quite a bit of changes to some buffs in this latest patch. Tundra was a hero even before, though, that we would every now and then see Puzzle Box on of any hero. Do you think Puzzle Box is now a very valid option here for this Tundra?
Oh, for sure, for sure. He didn't have to go more tanky. He has the Mystic Vestment, sure, but I'm going to go with the Ghost Marchers instead of the Steam Boots. So I believe Puzzle Box actually gives you a little bit more strength, right? It does give you a little bit more strength than it did before. Yeah, it's 9, 12, 15 now, if I'm not mistaken. It is like +3 higher, if I'm not. I'm taking a look at the changelog.
I think the strength did get buffed, yeah.
I think the stats in general just got buffed a little bit. I just want to take a look to see the exact situation we're dealing with.
I mean, when you think about it,
6,
too.
10, 14 to 9, 12, 15. So
yeah.
Early game strength, a bit higher on it. So intelligence, you have 1 more in the end, but it tapers off level 2. You only get 20 instead of 21. Overall, pretty similar, but the extra strength does help.
Yeah. That on top, again, the vision of Invis at level 1 and 2 now, although the radius isn't as big, of course, it still is pretty good size. Wretched Hag going to be gone into the bottom lane, but again, you see the global potential, but it's not going to be enough. Tempest ultimate going to come out on top of everything else, and finally, Wretched Hag will fall. Man, she survived the onslaught initially between the Ophelia's Hilly Touch, the Defense of Master's Call, but it just wasn't to be. Mikey Man doing a good job of using the Elemental Void there at the last second, making sure to guarantee that kill. Because if they didn't get that kill after all that, that would have been horrific. So, got the kill, and now they're going to push this bottom.
We're talking about puzzle boxes actually too, but it looks like the Wretched Hag Pro Bus there is opting to go for the puzzle box route instead. So keep Tundra going for that portal key, adding the extra initiation for his team.
Did she actually buy a puzzle box? Wait, why would you say that?
Because she has a Staff of Wizardry, and if she goes a tablet,
Neophyte's book for stuff. And,
well, yeah, but Neophyte's book. And if she goes a tablet, that's his.
No, Lightbrand.
Lightbrand. Even I honestly felt like she's going for the puzzle box. Lightbrand would make a lot more sense, though. It is a newer item.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
that's
all over the place. Like Brand would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that Grimoire power obviously considered to be a very powerful item on those heroes like that. But in the meantime, at the top lane, we have a big fight going on. to lose, going to be picked up right there. Tempest in some trouble, and Tempest is eventually going to fall. Just too much power coming out. The slow from the courier on top of everything else just did not allow him to get away. So the Hellborne team, they try to set up a defense here at the top lane, and it does not work out whatsoever.
Yeah, but they knew that the Legion team knew that Tempest ulti was down. They knew that Deadwood could not use his ultimate as well. So trying to set up a defense against this, fresh Legion team, all their ultimates up, all their spells up, ready to go, really damn risky, and obviously didn't pay off there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, that was definitely a moment in this game where Yaz just really building up the momentum now. Oh yeah, and he actually did buy a bolstering armband. So yeah, the puzzle box is in the end you probably are right. Honestly.
I felt it, and then
you're right. Top lane, we do have some more initiation though. Keep the force. We're coming out. Rally the defense. About to call. Saves him initially. Big Capel also. He will survive for now. Meanwhile, Fabelli's in no man's land. He's eventually going to get picked off as he was a little bit too deep right there. Post haste in from Wretched Hag assists the kill on a Pebbles at least. So they do get the tower kill at the base. Ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange, but the melee Rax is fine in the end. So
you're seeing the problem right here with the Hellborne team, unless they had a really huge early snowball start, is that they have a lack of sustained damage. They have that upfront burst, and the Legion team has everything they need to deal with that upfront burst at the current pacing of the game. So honestly, they're basically, if they go in, hold that thought actually.
Well, they are going in on the Keeper of the Force. He's going to try to pour it out. Minotaur stun. Yes, it is going to go off right there on top of the charge shot. And Keeper of the Force will be picked off. He was dusted. Oh my god, he might not be getting picked off actually. The dust wears off, but the Sonar Scream hits and down he falls. So Keeper of the Force just a little bit too much in there, and he eventually goes down. Deadwood now getting gone, and he just overextended big time. Seismic Slamcan next, and Deadwood falls into the logs. And ends up dying right there. Just, yeah, man, 17 hero kills. They are just keeping up this onslaught.
I said before, when you have bursts and not sustained damage, yeah, they have good team fights, but they have a lot of ways to deal with this Tempest right now, just due to the fact that they have good defensive posturing, that they have the Ophelia with a potential Skeleton King. As far as making team fights happen, if they jump in to try to burst someone down, they get healed in response. They're basically just performing a Andromeda swap onto themselves and the enemy team at that point, because no real effect is being had, and it's free kills from there on out. So you're seeing how Legion's lineup really just counters everything that Gay for Life is trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and just again right there. I mean, if I had to guess a team that has the potential to just build an early start and get this action going, it definitely would be the Hellborne side with their lineup with the heroes like Pebbles and Deadwood. But at the same time, this is also a pretty aggressive nature team on the Legion side when you do look at it. So, but yeah, the counters is the biggest impact, as you were just kind of pointing out there.
Yeah, but they needed two things. The potential snowball start, and they also needed, well, the draft to change out a little bit. The draft to change up a little bit if they were going for a lineup like this, allowing them to get all of these defensive abilities, all of these defensive heroes against the type of strategy they're trying to run is a direct counter. It's probably the most effective direct counter, and that's a little bit of a blunder. But yeah, they needed that snowball start, and as a result, I'd like to look back at that Tempest in terms of who got involved a little bit earlier in that middle lane, who set the snowball going, and also just how well Fabelli played the top lane against the Deadwood.
Yeah, got that early kill in that 1v1 situation, and yeah, he definitely did a great job up there too. Probusk level 15. He does have that level 1 puzzle box now. It's soon to be level 2. So again, you were definitely right on that one, and more so to that, you do got your Keeper of the Forest over here on the Hellborne side. Obviously, can be considered now a very powerful item against him. The fact that you can't see the invis at level 1 and 2 of it as well. The other buffs that it receives. So has it here. Tuntra did go the portal key route. Himself. He has another 1,800 gold saved up, so interested to see where he goes next. I mean, just look across the board. The support Master of Arms, Panny here, Energizer, Steam Boots, Mystic Vestment. So even he is having a great time. 282 gold per minute for your support Master of Arms. That's what will happen when you're just going so aggressive when it comes to team fights, as well as pushing in the enemy base. And
wow, Panny's gold is almost higher than the highest gold per minute here on the Hellborne team. Just to paint a picture there. Rally with that barrier idol. It's just, it is too much. It is way too much. It's another defensive tool to use against this Hellborne team where, yeah, a one-dimensional lineup, which is okay if you're able to accomplish your task. I don't really know what they're aiming for here, what they're hanging out for. Maybe like this huge Tempest ultimate. Huge Tempest ultimate into a Pebbles combo is pretty much the only thing they can do to get enough damage.
Yeah.
But outside of that, unless Ophelia and Rally really fail their jobs, the Tundra. I mean, on top of that, yeah, the Tundra, man. Even through a Shrunken Head, which he is building, the Tundra's going to be able to cancel. He can sit back. He has the portal key. There should be a 0% chance that the Hellborne team is able to set this up.
Yeah, I mean, the IA is also playing very well. Again, the Invitational, they looked good. They had the upset victory over Lions. Krebson getting to play against his then old team, and still is actually, I guess, but got to play against his old team and defeat them. And, so it's good for him too. And this is a team that clearly has the skill level, and here they are now, the qualifiers. And even in this matchup, if you had to pick a team, and we did have the community vote, I believe the top two were. As far as how they thought the series would play out, both they had victorious, whether it was 2-0 or 2-1. So the community definitely agrees as well when it comes down to the outlook of this match, at least the predictions, I guess. But again, this Hellborne side in Game for Life, I mean, definitely a solid team themselves. But here in game number 1, it just hasn't come together, and it's just well drafted. Is what it just continues to go back to. So really props to Tankafet in the end. Also, according to the brackets, the winner of this will play the winner of the Absolute Legends Le Fou series. So just kind of to also get an idea of what will happen as a result for this winner here. So Le Fou, the team we got to see yesterday against Blazing, of course, looked pretty good. So. Interested to see how these results start shaping up, man, because we are at that point where maybe some named teams could start falling, perhaps.
Yeah, Ro32, I'm not expecting any major upsets.
Yeah.
What was that one game? Actually, the one really close matchup I thought I saw when I was looking over the brackets was when the Complexity Han is actually casting around Temp Team versus Clan Milk. Not that Clan Milk is the biggest name team. They're a team that's been trying to pave their way for a bit now.
Yeah.
But that being said, of those matchups, that was the matchup I thought was the closest. And
yeah.
Well,
I actually did. I put out a poll as well that was on our Facebook and Twitter, and we also showed it a little bit earlier on in the cast of which team. I listed I think I had 7 or 8 major name teams. Which of those teams did the community feel would be knocked out first? And it was an interesting spread, actually. Again, I can't pull it up right now in front of me, but it was, I think, Afraid actually led the poll. People thought Afraid, if any of those teams, would be the first one to be knocked out. So it's going to be interesting to see, what the community thinks as far as potential to be knocked out here early on in this event. So having fun with those polls, really. Getting the community involved. That's definitely another thing we're trying to do more and more here on Hogcast. So Puzzle Box is level 3. You see the Mauler in the foreground. Going to try to explode on somebody right here. Unfortunately, not able to get close enough. Rotten Grass Pits, but in the meantime, is pushing this bottom tower. This is probably the moment, if any. I mean, if our Hellborne team can't hold it off here, then you got to think it will be over. It will be moving on to the next game. So the Token of Life, obviously, on Wretched Hag. We didn't even really mention that, but kind of saw it. So. But just continuing the dominance here. And just going to continue to push into the base until they eventually break through at this point. So it's going to come down, the big ultimates, big Tempest.
It's going to come down to it, but they don't have the damage in the end, man. They don't have the damage. It's kind of weird to say that when you do see a Pebbles and a Deadwood on team. Like, oh, yeah, you don't have the damage, but it is all burst. It's a little bit misleading in terms of what they can put out throughout the fight. So.
Yeah. Tempest doesn't have the portal.
As long as Rally can manage to hit his barrier idol here, yeah, that's a free tower. Puzzle Box is going to be up.
Oh, that was weird right there. Thunder dropped in. Actually, the counter initiation onto Ophelia. Ophelia barely stayed alive. Torch Spear going to go on her. She will stay alive in the end. And the Legion is owning, as the announcer states. The tower is going to fall. The melee rack's going to start going down. Tempest cancels the ultimate at the last second. He tried to get it off. It actually didn't even go on cooldown, but it didn't matter. GG well played. And game number 1 officially over. So again, it just, we kept reiterating, or you more so, but really just came down to the draft. Well played by Tankafet specifically, as far as his draft was concerned. And also, but on top of that, just playing very well. I mean, this is a very solid team right now. And things definitely looked pretty nice for them right there. Probuskia leading the way on Wretched Hag, doing his carry thing. So
right. Well, yeah, sort of. Yeah, it wasn't exactly a hard carry to go for the Puzzle Box route in the end, since they didn't need to drag the game out. They were already pushing the base. They were already applying all the pressure. They knew they had no real heavy late game scaling. So, yeah, it was cool to see. We didn't actually really get to see the impacts of potential Puzzle Box on a game and the changes due to the fact that by the time he picked it up, it was pretty much all but over. But either way, dominating first game. I'm honestly expecting to see that come out of game 2, though, by Team Ganking. I think they have a little bit more experience, a little bit more intelligence when it comes to their draft and approach to the game.
Yeah, it's always, you get a chance to respond now going into that second game from the drafting, starting with the drafting stage. And then the play as well. So we'll see. But yeah, it is looking very good. So who knows what's going to happen. But I know for a fact that we are going to take a short break here, as always. And we will be coming back at you with game number 2 just around the corner. So the round of 32 here for the DreamHack Summer Qualifiers. Stay tuned, guys. Game number 2 coming up next.